Welcome back into episode 67. So it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a video. Basically I've been away for a little while, summer holidays, doing all the bits and bobs, busy at work, etc. But we're back on it. So 2-3 weeks ago, I think the last thing I looked at was, just looking at the engine, we did the injectors, I believe. So what I want to try and push on with now is all the front of the engine. Get all the what is it, smog pump, alternator, power steering, everything on the front side of the engine. Get the belts on, get the cooling fan on, the radiator fan, all of that side of things. Pushing towards getting the radiator installed. I've got the radiator next door in a box, so that may even be the next week's video, maybe the one after. We can have a good look at that, see how it compares with the original radiator and all those sort of things. That'd be quite interesting. So I want to push forward in that direction. Then at the back end of the engine, we've got it. I've got it bolted to the bell housing, but not torqued up. I want to get that torqued up. I need to sort out the flex plate, work out how to attach that. There's a lot of stuff online about pressure on the flex plate, so I need to work out what that means. I've got the starter motor, which I'm looking at now. Starter motor cleaned up, looking good, tested, it all works. So we'll screw that. Once we've got the flex plate done, we'll get the starter motor put back on. That completes all that side of things. And then we've got a few pipes left on the top of the engine to do. I still need to work out what they are. They're still on the bench here, funny enough. This thing, one of them. I've got this one as well. Anyway, they're still there. There's a couple of bits I want to try and replace on those, but that's sort of like a background task at the moment. In the post, I've got the new radiator hoses coming, and I bought a load of belts as well, so hopefully I've got the right belts. But anyway, let's jump in, see how I get on. May not get much done this week because it's quite late already. Let's get something done so we get back into the weekly cadence and see how we do. Right, quick job this morning. I want to try and fit this sort of stripped out air pump, smog pump. So it's got nothing inside it anymore. It's really just a pulley, which I'm hoping sort of equals out the load on the crank from the alternator and the power steering pump, kind of as we've discussed before. I'm going to try and squeeze it in this little tiny gap, which is not that straightforward, of course. I hope it will just get in there. I think we're probably hitting something from above, aren't we? I can't actually get down there to see what I'm hitting. Maybe I'm not. Let's give it a little tap with a hammer. Nothing delicate in there anymore, as we said. Okay, so that'll screw in there, and this arm, I have to look at where this arm goes. I thought it went there, but clearly not, 'cause it's not long enough. It's probably onto the aircon housings, this big bit that I got powder coated and then decided to delete the aircon pump. But we'll have a look at that. I'll get this, double check it. A lot of this stuff I like to just sort of offer up and check whether I'm in the right zone, and then we'll go back and just double check that I've got everything correct. Let's find out where that connects up to. And then we're going to go over the other side, fitting the alternator and the power steering pump. I'm very keen to get these belts back on and try and work out what belt goes where. It shouldn't be too far away now. We can also put the fan on the front there again, because that's part of the belt assemblies, and start putting all the front back on. This little black mess is, this is obviously the power steering pump. All I've done here really mask it up, and then I've just sprayed it. It's been cleaned up, wiped down so it's degreased, and then just spray it so it keeps it clean. And this is the part of the alternator. I've got a new pulley to go on the alternator now, which is good. So that the last one had a little crack and a little lump taken out. So nice new pulley, same alternator, which I'm still a little bit dubious of, but it's an easy switch out should it be not performing or fail. But we'll get those two back on the car as well. Right, so this is the whole fan assembly with the clutch and the bracket and everything. I know it's not that amazing, but I do love tightening this stuff up. So, and I think it looks really good on time acceleration. So we're going to quickly clean this over with the wire brush on the drill. Right, that's all of the blades and sort of fins cleaned up. I think what I'll do is take the clutch out. It allows me to clean the inside. It'll also allow me to clean the bracket a little bit better. But also we can just check whether this clutch is okay or not. I don't know how we check yet, but at least it's a good idea. Right, I managed to find a fraction of space on the workbench amongst all the other pipes and things. And I've been looking at the alternator. So I think I mentioned earlier that the pulley on the alternator had sort of snapped. I managed to find this one, but when you actually compare, it's the correct size here, it's got the little key thing, but when you actually look like that, this has got a much bigger boss on it. You know, it's another 10 centimeters, something like that. And I foolishly thought this is never going to fit, and then I realised that it's actually got this recess which allows the nut to go inside it, so it can fit. So I've cleaned up the sort of propeller thing. I've had a good look over the alternator. I've actually strapped onto my drill and spun it, and it is producing electricity, so it's doing something. It's pretty smooth as I spin it. It's a little noise, but nothing horrendous. But now we're just going to put it back together. So with the new pulley, I got a new washer, which I believe goes in there, and that pushes this fanny bit up enough that it fits with the Woodruff key, so that's nice and stable on there. Then we have the actual pulley itself, which I'm going to have to tap in place with a hammer. Neatly fits down on there. Well, we're almost down, like that. Then we have a split washer, and then the magical nut, and we can just wind that on. Now what I need to do is work out how to wind that on without it all turning, which I don't know how to do, but we'll have a little go. I can hold the propeller thing, which will help, but it's probably not the correct way of doing it. Let's just wind it on a bit. Right. So let me know how I do that up. As I said, I can just wedge against this and it will work, I'm sure. But let me know the correct way of doing that. I can go ahead and get it on the car though. I don't see any harm in doing it. I can always torque it up sort of on the car itself. But another thing ready to go on. That's we're getting there. I've got the power steering pump all sprayed up. That's ready to go back on as well. And I was looking online just trying to work out exactly which order and where they go, which I'm going to offer them up to the car now, and so I get a good idea that I've got things in the right place. Right, it's the power steering pump. Everything's on these cardboard boxes because when I moved house we bought loads of them, and it's really nice sort of clean thing to put things on and spray on and stuff, so that's why it says medium here, because this was the medium sized. So I'm very slowly getting there. I've just put the power steering pump in sort of very gently. I still need to work out where this bit attaches. Unfortunately there aren't any sort of guides or obvious information about how to fit all this stuff back together. So it's a little bit of sort of put it in, put the bolt in, which I can see obviously goes there, and offer things up and just try and work it out. The alternator, clearly it picks up and goes in this gap just here. There's a hole sort of under my finger that goes straight through. So the alternator seems to go there. I need to work out what happens here. If I just zoom you in, make sure you're focused. Something must go between these bit here. We'll work that out in a minute. Then over this side I've got the smog pump in, the air pump. I say I've got it in, again it's the same trick. I've just put the one bolt in. I'm trying to work out where this goes, and looking on my disassemble video, I can see that this bit here, where is it, the adjustment sort of bit, connects onto the frame that holds the aircon pump. So I've just grabbed that out of the box, which is there, and we'll work out how to fit that now. Up underneath the smog pump is just there, and this is the, I don't know if I can hold it one-handed actually, this is the bracket that holds the aircon, which we're not putting in this time round, and that fits in there about, I don't know if I can let it go, it goes about there, oh no, a little bit, it's a fraction higher up, about there. I'll have to lift the smog pump up a little bit just to show you, but I'm going to put a couple of bolts in, just to put that in, and then we can work out how we attach the smog pump to this. Right, that's with the bracket back in. Again, nothing particularly tight, just while I work out whether it fits. And you can see the adjuster for the smog pump comes in here, it goes in that hole there. That was the thing I was missing, the piece I was missing. So that's looking good. So as I just remind you, the smog pump is completely empty. I stripped all the guts out. The idea with it is that it's just going to be something, you know, if I can turn it, it's pretty free turning. It's just to equal out the load on the crank when I've got this belt pulling one way and there'll be two belts pulling this way, the alternator and the power steering pump. So hopefully that'll stop any sort of undue wear on the crank. So we're trying to sort of fit this together bit by bit and work out what goes in each bit. That doesn't look right either. It's a little bit difficult to see exactly what goes where, because on the diagram it says an M8, so I've got an M8 120mm bolt, but I can see that it doesn't even go through this hole. There's something not quite right. So interesting fact, on the parts diagram, I don't know if I can show you, but that hole there takes an 120mm long M8. What it actually takes is 128mm M6, which is here, which I've just managed to dig out of my box. If I just zoom out a little, you'll see where I am. That's the power steering pump, and the bolt I'm talking about, sort of dead center, is the one that holds on the alternator. And here's that M6 bolt, just to prove it fits. Actually, I can show you. I've had to undo a lot of this stuff, but it actually goes through. If I can just rejig this, that goes in there like that. This one comes up on top, and the M6 goes straight through here and into the block. If I can get it in there, like that. So I actually do it with my fingers. And that's M6. M8 will not even fit through the hole there. And off of that hangs the alternator. If I can just reach it, oh, got a heavy lump, but that just hangs there roughly like that. Right, so hit a slight problem. This is the my original alternator and original bracket and everything, and this is obviously a replacement block. Now the block is the same type. It's a M28/02, same as the original one. It's about 500 later on the production run, looking at the serial number. Now the alternator goes on there, hangs on this, on this bracket about where my thumb is here, and this adjustment arm goes on the bolt here. Now the problem is this is an M6 hole, and the bolt that holds that bracket on there is an M8. So and I've checked it over, it really is an M8 in there. The goes in where my finger is now. On the parts diagram it says M6, and it looks like it should be M6, but that is an M8 hole. So whether that's been tapped out because someone over tightened it or something like that, stripped it, I don't know, but it is an M8. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to take this on the bench and drill this out to be M8 and M8 so it fits. Right, what started out as a nice simple job has gone on, and I think we can now try and get this thing fitted. I think. So, what I need to do is try and slide underneath the car again. There we go. Oops. Right, that's looking pretty good. check. I've not done anything up too tight. There's nothing torqued up. So make sure we're all good. Yeah, that'll pop on there. So of course it would have been much easier to fit these oil pipes before I fitted the alternator and everything, but let's have a go at that now. Now they go, I don't know if I can get in there without laying under the car. No, not quite. You can almost see just coming into the picture at the top there. They go in there, they connect in there behind the alternator, which is sort of directly there. So hopefully I can get on that now, and we'll get those pipes on. A slightly better angle, you can just see the two connectors there, and these are the two pipes. And then they're coming around the top of the alternator, and I'm just sort of holding them in place at the moment. But I'm just going to bolt those on. I won't do them up tight until we fit the radiator, which is probably coming up maybe even next week. Right, that's enough for this week. Time to call it a close. I'm really pleased to get back to the job. I mean, being away, I find it quite painful. Although it's nice sitting in the sun, I like fixing my car. What have we got on there then? We've got the air pump, or the stripped out air pump, the alternator and the power steering pump. And I've just provisionally put in those, the oil lines that go to the radiator, the oil cooler. I need to resolve on the front of the alternator, the pulley I've put on there is a little bit big, so I might have to swap out the nut that's on the front there because it's hanging off a little bit. You can rewind and have a look and let me know what you think. If you think it's fine, tell me as well because it'll save me some troubles. So that's it for this week. Next week, I think we may be doing the radiator. I've just got to decide about the belts, whether I try. I'll be sourcing the belts. I've got a couple arriving in the post, probably arrive on the next couple of days. I haven't got the air pump belt, so I need to get that one, and the one that goes around the fan assembly. But that's kind of a background task, I think. I think I can crack on with the radiator next week, so looking forward to that. As ever, thank you for watching. Please click the subscribe button, help me grow the channel, keep me motivated, and I'll see you next week.